Alright, hello, this is Josh with Logic Chronicles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the inventory system and show you how I've constructed it. Now, the only thing that I have to tell you is for this, I'm in college season right now, and I don't really have time to make videos as much and edit it, so I'm not actually going to sit down and make each and every step out with you. Instead, I'm just going to open up each and every blueprint, all the functions, everything, and just show you and just kind of explain what it does, so you can kind of just copy it and just kind of do whatever with it. But just know that's how I'm going to go about this, just to make it a little bit faster, so you can just maybe pause, rewind, go back, do whatever you got to do to finish it. But first things first that you might want to do is just stay organized, make some folders. Alright. Now, after that, you want to come over here to Enums. And then you're going to have some branch options here, which is one enum, which is basically meant for if a player decides to go down a certain path. Like if you remember in the intro I did, you could have killed either or of the two little spheres that I had, either the blue one or the grass one. And if you kill the blue one, that'd be branch A. If you kill the grass, that'd be branch B. And depending on what I did is just threw down a whole bunch of these, just like so. If there's that many options possible you can do during the quest, you can go down a different path, so you can get different outcomes depending on what happened. If you need more, you can add more, but realistically, like, I felt like this should probably be enough, because, you know, if you're doing something even more than this, that's pretty epic. But, you know. The next thing is quest status. And the whole point of these is just to kind of decide what is the state of a quest. Like, has a quest been completed? Is the quest still in progress? Did you fail the quest? And stuff like that. And over here is just some information about what I'm kind of using it for, if you're interested. Alright. And these are going to be very important, because this will be both work for the quest overall and small quest journals within it. So, like, for each step of the way, you can start inserting some journals in there. So, say you get one quest where, like, one guy wants you to come over and grab this item, where another guy, and bring it to, like, a temple, where another guy comes over and says, no, I want the item for myself, bring it to me. So you get two journals. One guy is telling you to bring it to a temple, the other guy is telling him to give it to himself. So you say you pick one branch over the other, well, you failed one, but you completed the other. And that'd be the idea. Or if there's two quests, where, say one faction wants you to go bring it to them, where the other faction wants you to bring it to them, or to the other faction, and if you say you choose one over the other, well, then it might be suspended. That journal entry might be suspended, like, well, we no longer need that to be possible. So then that other faction, they'll say, alright, it's no longer important, sort of situation. And I got a message. Alright. Now, for this, it's kind of your discretion of how you're going to use this and what you want to go about it. If you find that there are more scenarios you need, you can always just add things in. But this is just what I found as a generic way of saying, okay, if something's going on, it's ongoing, that's what's there. If you complete it, there you go. If you failed it, if you got to wait for some sort of trigger, if you just want to nullify it so it's no longer needed, if it's just not active at all, you just want to get rid of it. These are kind of the things that I've decided to, that's just kind of what I decided to throw out. Alright, the next one is a quest type enum. Now this quest type enum is basically just for organization, so maybe you can put more priority on one over the other. And it's for right now, it's mostly for just display and just categorizing is all I have it done for. So like, say you want to group things under the main quest. Say you want some sort of epic quest here. Say you want to categorize things as guilds. Say you want to make sure that these are side quests. Say you have other quests, something, maybe it's a randomized, you find out how to randomize quests, and that's how you do it. This is just kind of the idea that I had behind it. You can do, you can throw in whatever you want, but just know that's how this is kind of working out. And that's all for the enums. The next thing that's kind of important is the structs. Alright? So, actually, before I do the structs, let me come over here and talk about the actors, because we're going to need to reference them. We just need two actors right here, a quest actor and a quest manager. Those are it. So just make those, name them there, and just leave it there, because we won't touch it for a couple seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and explain the structs, because we're going to reference one. We're going to reference it. That way it knows it's there. So now if I come over here to this struct right here, the struct folder, This one right here is not really too important. It's just holding some integers because I've decided to add a date feature in the game. So like, when you actually activate the quest, when you get a new journal entry, it'll just throw that stuff in there. Not really that important. I only do it for for RPG purposes. But this is important right here. This gather information struct. In here, what you want to do is just this, just an index leading to some sort of string. And the reason why is because what this will do is if you remember the quest, so actually I'll play this out a little bit, hold on. If you remember when I did over here to this quest, just give me 1 second. Okay. If I come here, I had this, right? What this is doing is this is the name that I'm leading. This is the information right here of what when I'm trying to gather all these coins. That's what that's referring to. So if I come over here and gather this, sorry, if I gather that, that's what's going on. It's that name. So that's what this is referring to. Just the name. These indexes, I'll explain how those come into play later, but just remember that's all that's referring to. The next thing over here is the information that's going to be stored when you're actually saving these quests. I have an ID that's just for referencing the quests, so that way the quest manager knows which quest is which, and knows not to spawn quests with the same name. It's mainly just in case if you're trying to randomize quests, they might need the same exact quest class, but you need to differentiate which quest goes with which. So that's why that's there. The next thing is the quest status. Did you complete the quest? Is the quest failed? All that sort of information. That's what this is for. This next thing is a quest index. And the idea is each time you complete a portion of the quest, you just increment an index so you can keep track of what's going on in the quest, where you are, and what sort of situation to kind of go on with. This next thing is a gather index, or a gather progress, and these are basically smaller indexes. So if you notice I have this float here, that will later correspond to, if I go through this again, if I hit go back to my journal, that corresponds to this number right here. So you see how I picked up one? Now if I come over here, I pick up another. If I go here, now I picked up two. That's what this is going to correspond to. So like the whole idea is if there's under an entry, if there's more than one thing. So say if I played this, if I go through, there we go. Alright, so if I come here, say if I need to collect some money, and then underneath that I need to collect some swords, and so on. That's why there's different indexes. So like, I'd have index 1 for this one, index 0 for this one, index 1 for the swords, index 3 for say some plants, and then if I go back over here, they'd also correspond over here. So over here I'd have an index for the money. I have an index and the name for the what's it called, for the swords. The next index would be for a flower, and so on and so forth. That way you can just kind of get that information. This branch is going to correspond to the index. So like at a certain point in the quest, if you're starting off the quest, that's step 1, and say the first step is, alright, I want to go over and decide between two items. Like I want to go get a bow, or I want to go get a sword. You can have branch A, or you can have branch B. At this point in the index, or at this point in the quest, at this quest index step, like that step, which you're gonna look over here and say, okay, which branch did you pick? And that'll be the point of that. So then that's at like 0, index 0. So index 1, okay, well let's say you had to go kill a dragon, or you had to go kill I don't know, a troll of some sort or something like that. Well, index 2, what branch did you pick? And that's kind of how that's gonna be played out. The next thing is this is going to be a reference to how many journal entries you have. So like once you at each point in the step, you should be giving the player some sort of information, like saying, okay, what is the last thing you just did, or what should you be doing now, so they can reference it later. This is just going to be an ID, so they can kind of reference it, and this will be what's it called? Just a status to let them know. All right, did you fail this before? Did you complete it? Is it null, and don't worry about it now, just keep going? That's kind of what that's going to be for. Then you want to reference the class that the quest is using for all the logic. And then here I just added a date, so you know when you started the quest in the game. And then I have these, so it's like for when did you get each quest entry? I'm just saving the date for that. Those last two aren't really too important. It's just something I decided to do for style reasons. You can do it if you want, but it is what it is. Alright, that's what those two are. And then this is not really too important in terms of the actual gameplay. It's just a feature I've decided to add in. It's just a date with, so you can make your own custom entries so you can kind of keep track of what you're doing in the game for yourself. Again, not too important, but that's all that is. Alright. So now the next thing we're going to talk about is the library. In this library, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the interface, because this interface is basically how the entire thing works. Alright? So if I come here, I have all these. Alright, these events are just going to fire off. So the way it's going to work is you have objects out in the world. So say, for instance, I have this money right here. Right? These pieces of money, each time I grab one, I want to send a message over to the manager so that the manager to tell the manager that I picked one of these up. Then once one of them are picked up, the manager gets that message, and then the manager looks at all the quests that exist that have been spawned in the world, and the quest manager says, "All right, here's that information. Do something with it." So that way, it's just kind of like the manager is just kind of like a mailman sort of, so that all the quests get the information that they need. Some quests might not need to know that I picked up this coin. Say for this, I killed him, right? I killed this guy or I killed that guy. Not all quests are going to need to know I killed one or the other, but they'll still get that information anyway. So if you don't need it, it just filtered out, no big deal. That's the idea of this. So what I need to do is figure out, okay, which sort of messages should I be sending? So the first one is, all right, this actor took some damage. You say, okay, this is the actor that took the damage. This is the actor giving the damage amount, and did he die? So here's a message that could be used for any quest. If they need this information, they have it. The next thing I did was say, okay, let's say you want to read a book of some sort, or you want to read a tablet on some sort of grave or something, and then after that, say a dragon pops down out of nowhere and starts attacking you. That's kind of what this is for. Just keep in mind, I'm sending the class of the, oh wait, what am I doing? Should be widget. There we go. This should be the class of the widget, and this is kind of how I'm using to reference, what widget you're using. This is just the player's actor, wherever the player, it probably should be a pawn at least, but it's no big deal. And then I'm sending through the controller. Just keep in mind for multiplayer reasons, keep in mind for like sometimes when you're trying to use widgets and stuff like that, there are certain things you gotta deal with. But that's what I'm doing for that. For this quest, my inventory status and stuff like that. What this is basically doing is, if I haven't put it up yet, but I have an inventory system and I've been recording some videos for that. But basically, at the end of the day, the information that I need to let the quest manager know that you picked up an item is all right here. So this is the item, the person who took the item. The person who has the item. This is the person that has the item. This is the ID of the item. This is the item class and the amount. So if I look over here, this item right here, if I come over here to this gold piece right here, each time you pick these up, this is the ID that's being passed through. This is how many. So if I go up here and say like 3, if I go pick it up, instead of picking 1 coin, I would have picked up 3 instead of 1. That's just the idea of that. So if I come over here, I say, okay, well, I picked up 1 coin, I picked up 2 coins, maybe 3, or maybe I dropped 3 coins all at once. And that's all that's doing. So I got the ID of whatever it is, and I got the class. And this is the status. Okay, if it's true, I picked it up. If it's false, that means I dropped the item. And then if I drop the item, this is the actual actor of the item in the world. So let's say I ended up dropping this coin in the world. Okay, well, that coin right there that I just dropped, that's what's getting passed through right here. And then what I did for my inventory system is I put it into a component. And this is just the component, and what the component does is just keeps track of the inventory and what's going on in it. I figured, okay, well, at some point that might be important to know. So I pass that information through. The next thing is this right here. So say this is just some sort of status change. This is basically, did you open or close the door? Did you press a button? Did you pull a lever? Did you step on a pressure plate? That's all this is. So this first one is, this is basically the actor that we're checking. So this is the player himself going and opening the door. This is some follower that hit a location of some sort. this is the actual place. So this is the door itself, this is the button itself, this is the location trigger that the actor just walked into. And then right here is just a status. All right, are you in it or are you out of it? Did you open the door or did you close the door? And that's all that is. So like from what I'm doing is if you open the door, I believe that's true. If you closed it, I believe that's false. I don't remember, but that's basically how I set it up. Now let's say you press the button. Is the button on? Okay, true. Did you turn it off? Okay, false. And that's what this is doing, just sending that information through. Next few are part of my dialogue system, and the whole point is, all right, who's the let's just get the player because that might be important to know. Let's get the or at least the actor of the player. Let's get the other person who's talking, so that way I know who the player's talking to, or who the player's talking to in this case. Right here is just the dialogue ID, so I know like when they pick an option, because that's what this is, just picking an option. Yeah, when they pick the option, this is just giving you an idea of which option they picked. This is just an option ID tag or ID thing, so like it's mostly for programming reasons, so I can parse the string later and get more information out of what was just picked. And then this is just like, say, a speech check. So say you're talking to a boss right now, and that boss, you have the choice right now to calm him down. And if you don't calm him down, he's gonna kill you. But if you manage to pass the speech check, he'll just let you go by and just walk on your own. That's sort of the idea. So it's like, did you pass or fail the speech check? And then the next one right here, some actor is speaking to the player. Excuse me. Some actor is speaking to the player. So that's the whole point of this. So the actor is speaking to the player. This is just the idea of whatever dialogue he's saying. Again, just something for reference, so to get more information out of it. And then this status is just a boolean. I don't remember why it's there. I don't even remember why I put a question mark. But this is just the information I'm passing through right now. Just so you know, when someone is speaking, that's not when someone's speaking to the player. Oh, that's what it is. It's before or after the speech. So that's what that's for. So like this is before they start speaking. Then right after they speak, they start doing something. So maybe right before they start speaking, you hit something dialogue, then they start talking, and some soldiers start walking right before they talk. And then as soon as he finishes talking, all of a sudden the soldiers go and attack you. That's what that's for. All right. Now I'm going to end this video here, and then we'll actually get into the purpose of the quest manager and the actual quest, and then I'll talk about maybe this, depending on how time goes. So see you next time.